Hello. Why do they tell their members or people that depend on their opinions to not fear a gift of prophecy when it comes to judgment? Like, you have a lot of preachers who are telling their members or speakers are saying that, we're going to prosper this year. Last year they said the same thing. They've been saying it for years, that this is a year for prosperity. This is a year that this, that, and that. But everybody wants to hear that type of stuff. But when it comes to judgment, because God does have a judgment, people are always fearful and telling others, well, everybody always trying to put fear, don't contact that person, and this is my personal opinion. Well, I'm not going to even say that. The prophetess who prophesied a judgment on Kirk Franklin and Brian Carn, she said she had been trying to reach out to them and no one's contacted her. And it's the same with me. When I put things out, people don't want to hear that stuff. If they heard a lot of your things and this trying to be lined up with God, people don't have no interest in that, and so they just go into the next video. But this is not God. First of all, God said fear, wisdom is having the fear of God. Not that you're you should be fearful in a way. I mean, you should come to him, but just like the children of Israel, when God came to the mountain and the mountain shook and his voice and everything like that, the people were fearful until you don't want to do anything wrong. But this is what it is. Hell is a fearful place to go. How else would Jesus preach? Jesus was talking about hell. And when he speaks to his vessels, they're warning you not to go to that place. It's terrible. A lot of people don't want to talk about that. They talked about that years ago, probably when I was little. And then they stopped because everybody want to compromise. But then when God started giving his people dreams and open visions and things like that, people don't want to hear that. They're fearful. So they will tell their members I'm pretty sure that someone talked with either Kirk Franklin or Brian Carn. They're not the only ones. There's plenty more of people being called out. But I'm pretty sure they said, people always trying to put fear, make you scared, that's how they operate. Don't contact them. But see, she said that she tried to contact them to tell them privately. Because if God didn't show Kirk Franklin himself or Brian Carn himself or somebody else, I don't know what your relationship is with God. I know you preaching, or singing. But if God can't get your attention because you're always busy, he's going to get his servant to tell you. So if they didn't want to do it, and this prophetess who did this on him did not want to do an open rebuke. She said out of her mouth that she sent several messages and they're not getting back to her. She said nobody want to listen. And I can agree with her because it's the same. It's true. And even in the prophets in the days in the Bible, they don't want to hear that. They try to have them killed because God sent them. God sent the prophets, and just like Jesus said, you killed the prophets because nobody wants to hear the truth. They're thinking that they're supposed to have like just money spree type of thing. So she said she tried to get in touch with them and nobody's listening. They're not getting back with her. So she said God told her to say that to Kirk. She had to get the message out because they wouldn't return it so that he can hear it. Then she said, Brian Carn. She said, this is not the media to do this. I need you to get in touch with me. And I'm sure preachers are saying, don't do it. People always trying to use, saying that it could be witchcraft, or they're trying to use their gift to try to scare people, put fear in people, and so they can get to know your business. And what are you talking about? And I listened to this lady, and I heard it wasn't just on them, it was on the world. And America is an abomination doing things like that. America has been getting away with a lot of things, and God's been having patience. It's the saints. There's probably millions of saints, but the true saints is just a few of them. And they're praying because everybody went to whoring after idols, money, all these things. She was trying to get in touch with them to keep it quiet. Preachers, I don't know what, and the enemy comes in to confuse everybody. They should leave that alone. That's between God, that person, and the other person. These are not little kids that these preachers are talking to. Brian Carter is not a kid, and neither is Kirk Franklin or any other. They're grown enough to make their own decisions. They know what they're doing. You might have an idea, and then you're interfering. You know exactly what they're doing, and they do too. So they're grown enough to get in touch with this person. So maybe she didn't want to do an open thing. That's what she said. She said, this is not the media to tell what she wanted to do for Brian Carr. She said, get in touch with me. And the preachers are saying, don't do it. And then she said God told her that, if he doesn't get in touch with her, to do it open, because he has to get the message. God wants to save everybody from hell. People are being disobedient, and they know they are. So what make you think that you should not listen? You think it always supposed to be peaches and cream? You all know that you are doing abomination. You know that you're going to hear from God. God can't, and I'm sure God talked to you first, because I can hear people saying, well, she's saying it, you're a man of God, and God can talk to you. God has been telling that person. When she said that Kirk Franklin had turned away from God, first of all, in order to be a worshiper of the devil, you have to denounce whatever religion you're in. So she said he has denounced God. He knew the way and turned to demons. So what is that telling you? And some people know. And some people heard the video. But it don't have to be her. I knew it anyway. I don't know him personally. God knows everybody. God talks to people. I already knew it anyway. And I know some other stuff that I'm sure a lot of people can figure out. But I know some other stuff. Because I had that dream, that prophetic dream for Kirk Franklin a couple years ago. I don't know, it's between 2016 or 17, but he came after the other. I had rappers that God, and rapper singers. And then when Kirk Franklin popped up, that shocked me. I should have left it up just to, for confirmation. Because I'm not making this up. I took it down. I made 2 videos on celebrities. I took it down. I recently made one, probably last year, whatever, and I took it down. Then I made another one, 2 more, and I said, I'm not going to take this down. That's it. And there's other gospel singers that's on that list too. I know things. God showed me in my, where I actually talk in the prophetic dream. I talked to the person. I talked to Kirk Franklin in my dream, and Denzel and all the rest of them talking. I know what I know what's going on. It's a lot of stuff, but the first video I made, I said I'm not gonna put it on their personal, and people said, well, they're into filth. I'm like, but I'm not gonna do that unless God say that. I can't say what that prophet is. What's her name? She said her name is McLean. Anyway. McLean. Anyway, I know a lot of stuff about what's going on. They're not hiding it, and whoever's with them, they probably know. But what I'm saying is, preachers and pastors should not be so quick to run and tell a person she's just trying to, or that person's trying to put fear on you, whatever that. It should be put some fear on them because they know what they're doing. They're in sin. And she said that he had turned to worshiping idols. He had turned to idols, worshiping demons in order to get fame. And I know that he was thinking that there's a lot of people that like his music in the past, whatever the music he was making. But I guess he felt like he was dying out. Like, all these secular people that have millions of people buying their things, he felt like he wasn't going to be in fame. First of all, it's not about fame. If you had the right mind and you said in your songs about witnessing, you say stuff like, like you have some words like Jesus, but it's not saving people. But I mean, there's a lot of believers, there's a lot of unbelievers who like his music the way it is. You don't have to go secular to be popular, but that's what you did. And take heed when God sent people, prophets. You don't have to be. You can have the gift of prophecy. Whatever how God used you, He did it for a reason. He said to do it. Now I only said what I said, but a lot of stuff I left personal. So I do know some things about all of them, and I knew of some other things that Kirk did. But I would just be grown enough. Brian Carn and all the rest of them, you're not babies. You want spiritual advice. The greatest spiritual advice is God. You can have that if you keep that relationship. I'm not saying that you don't have a gift. And I know that God had saved you, some of you preachers, but you have slipped. And so God can't get your attention anymore. Then He'll get somebody to wake you up. And Brian Corn, I'm in her situation, and I know what it is when people don't listen. So my concern, the reason why I'm posting those things to have you to contact them, Brian Carn and Kirk Franklin, is because my heart, I care for the souls of people, just like God does. God loves you more than I do because God's love is different, but I care. And I don't want to see, I can't even imagine people like, I don't want nobody to go to hell. So I said, it'd be sad to find out, and then He does. So let me do what I had to do. And, and every time we try to warn people always say, well, what about you? Are you saying, come on now? When God tells someone to tell someone something, it's He trusts you. Yes, that means all of us. That means all of us have to say, I don't want to go to hell either. And I constantly say, God, give me a clean heart. Anyway, these pastors need to stay out of people's business by telling, one thing, if these people are trusting you to get the word and they look for you for spiritual advice, I'm telling you, God can open there's nothing wrong with it. But you get your things from God. But as far as them running your life, telling you don't do this, don't do that, now they're running your life. You're not a baby. Use your head. That God's going to get in touch with you. You're going to hear a prophecy of judgment there, and that you deserve it. Just like a lot of people who said they died and went to hell, they said the things that their spirit, like they die off the table. People have heaven experience, they have hell experience, and they said that you don't even question why you're there because everything comes before you, and you know exactly why you're there, and you remember everything you've done. So, yes, God has a right to expose you because you know what you dabbled, you know what you did, you know it's wrong. All right, but I'm just saying, use your own wisdom, and you're supposed to fear anyway. I mean, we're supposed to love God and fear what He can do. That's what Jesus said. Fear Him that can put your soul and your body into hell. That's what He said. Fear Him. You can have a relationship with God, but there's something, a fear that you don't want to step on His toes. So that's why we have to have some type of fear of God so that we can stay in line. So if you might have got in touch with this person, I don't know. I'm not trying to ask God what happens. No, but I'm just helping her spread the word to get to him, not to publicize just because people need to know. We see what you're doing. It's no secret. You know, a lot of you all's faces had changed, puffy. It had, your eyes, everything has changed. You look like a demon. You don't look the same. And I can tell. Well, let me just leave that like that. And I think that they should get in touch. Kurt, if he hasn't, he's got to denounce Satan. So, but this is good too, because there's a lot of secular people that they believe in just worshiping Satan and don't think that God has power. So if they hear God say that, and the things that come true, there is a God. And God is more powerful than Satan. Satan is not going to give you nothing. He'll say, well, I can give you, what I mean is temporarily. And that's the difference between him and God. God gives you according to what you do. Devil, he likes fast money, so he can claim your soul. So if you don't do something that he don't like, then he can attack you and have you killed or set up something. But God protects. God won't allow anything to happen to you if you come to him. Or the demon's going to get mad and try to torment you because you try, they're going to try, but God protects you. And God, you need to get around some real spiritual people. Not these people. If these preachers are agreeing with what just these simple things like, that's just your way of bringing people to Christ. None of them came to Christ. They're dancing like the world when they hear your music. But Satan will say, I'm your daddy now, and you say, oh, he must care about me, and so he gonna give me money and this and that. You already know the devil hates. He hates you because you're the image of God. He's using you to bring a lot of people in because he don't want to be the only one to get punished. And once when he's through using you or think, okay, that's enough, he'll kill you. Just like all these little magicians, they kept doing the same thing over and over and over, and a lot of people wasn't coming to it, some of them, and so they said, okay, we're done using him, kill the magician. And then, so he'll swallow something, and then he get cut up, and he'll just die. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And I'm not saying anything secret. You can see all that stuff on YouTube. They show all that stuff. But he's not going to share. He might tell you and put you in contact with big people, and you making all this money, and the reason why you're still living because he's still using you to bring other people in, other rappers and things like that. Then he hates you on top of that. He's just using you. And then when you die, he's not going to share his kingdom with you. First of all, he's only going to have his kingdom for a moment until that time. He knows the time is short, and he's been trying to kill all humanity. Then when his time comes, he's going to be thrown in the lake of fire where he lived, in hell. And lake of fire going to be on top of that. You all can keep on talk about 60 stuff, 60, that it's weak, Christians are weak. No. We're powerful because we have the power. You might have the power of the devil to try to put a hex on somebody, but we got the power to stop that hex. Because God's more powerful. And you don't know. I'm talking about these secular people. They think that, because all these fast monies, but you're not going to have it. All those things that you have, like beautiful things, his believer's going to have that. Where you think Satan get all this stuff? And he knew that Jesus had everything, but because God was made into the flesh, he thought because of the flesh that he could really trick him. Like, hey, I can give you all the kings of this world if you fall down and worship me. But he, as a flesh, he had to put Satan in his place. But now, he's got the key. I heard someone said, Satan had the key to open up the portals, where the dark smoke come and all these locusts. And no, he don't. The Bible says a great angel came down and opened the bottomless pit. Jesus had that, but see, we're on this earth and we have a choice. It's either God or Satan. It's either save up your treasure and then you'll get it forever, or choose Satan, get your stuff up front, and then die forever. burn forever. Anyway, preachers, stop telling these your members of things that don't want to take heed, because something bad happened in your life about a prophecy. I know there's some prophecies that are not true. Jesus said it. There are false prophets and there are true prophets. But if someone give you a prophecy of judgment and you know that you did something bad, stop telling them not to listen to that, because now you're interfering and you're wrong, and God gonna get you. Stay out their business. If they seek you for advice as far as for gospel's sake, but don't let these men run your life. You are a grown man going to another grown man, and he's telling you what not to do. When it comes to God, God's greater than him. God's greater than everybody. All right, that's all I need to say.